Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's MZ here. In this video, I'm going to be doing another tarot tag video. The theme for this one is decks I recommend to my viewers, and it was created by Nova Mundi Tarot. I personally haven't been tagged to do this video. I've just seen this about, and I'm a bit late to respond to this video. There's been loads that have been uploaded already, but I really liked the prompt for this one, so I thought I would make my own video on this. And it's really, really interesting. And the hashtag for this is editorspickdecks. So there's 15 prompts. So let's just start with prompt number 1. Prompt number 1 is Inner Child Work, a deck you recommend for inner child healing, one that feels safe, nurturing, and playful, ideal for reconnecting with innocence, creativity, and emotional truth. And the deck I picked for this one is the That's So 90s Tarot. I am a 90s child. I was born in 88, so I grew up in the 90s. And this deck really very nostalgic for me and brings me back to my childhood, just remembering things back then. And it really does bring out how I was, like my innocence as a kid and everything. And on the information here, there's no guidebook to this, but it just says, I created this deck because I'm a 90s kid and I love everything nostalgic. I wanted to create something fun and colourful that takes me back to our childhood where things are so much more simpler. Let your intuition run wild with this deck, and most importantly, have fun. So I thought this was a great one for inner child work. Sort of backs it like, very 90s design. Got it off Etsy. It's by Divine Moon Empress. That's the creator. But yeah, everything in this deck is all like 90s pop culture, games and TV shows and films and everything. So here we've got Harry Potter, loads of cool nostalgic things, and the pentacles in this suit is Pogs, which I played with all the time when I was younger. Here you've got cups. It looks like a cup you get so like paper cups you'd get at a party or something like that. And then we've got the moon here. I know what you did last summer movie. The sun, we've got the Lion King. Just really like nostalgic references to my childhood. Got Hey Arnold, Battleship Game, The Mask. I absolutely love that movie. So many cool references to childhood, and it's so fun and colourful. And I definitely feel like it brings the inner child out in me, and remembering things like some of these images and like pictures of toys and stuff reminds me of, brings me back memories as a child, which I wouldn't normally remember. So it sort of like does bring up my like inner child memories and focusing on how I was as a child. So innocent and very more carefree, not so worried about everything that's going on in the world, you know. But it's such a fun, cool deck. So we've got Pokemon here, and everyone did this at school, trying to find out who your like true love was. So cool. Loads of cool references from the 90s in here. And yeah, definitely one I like to use if I want to tap into my inner child, definitely. Got Tamagotchis, I love those. Hey Sabrina was a good TV show. Got Charmed there. Spice Girls. Cassette players. That very hyped up boxing match. That's a cool thing. Flip phones, I had one of those too. So yeah, I reckon anything that inspires the young child in you is a great inner child deck, and this is one that I like to use. And we got Blockbuster. We used to go there all the time with my dad. Once a week we'd go pick a movie. That was always fun. Yeah, it's just a cool deck. I really like it. So yeah, that's the deck I picked for inner child work, and that's So 90s Tarot. Prompt number 2 is Shadow Work, a deck that's powerful for helping readers face their shadows, honest, deep, and unafraid to confront the difficult. This is your recommendation for deep transformation and self-inquiry. And the deck I chose for this one is the Spherical Tarot. This is such a great deck. I absolutely love this to work for your shadow self. I think this is brilliant, this deck. So let me just show you here. It says, I believe the spiral symbolises our journey of psychological development. I picture a mountain with a path spiraling around and headed upward. The path goes around and around. Each time we circle around, we see the same view from a slightly higher perspective. The same is true for recovery from trauma. Initially, we're in the dark. We find ourselves struggling with the same issues over and over. As we use the tarot to spiral inward in our search for clarity and healing, we have the opportunity to work with our issues in a slightly different way, from a slightly different angle each time they reappear. Each turn of the spiral brings us closer to the light of our true self. And I totally believe in that symbology with the spiral. I even have a spiral tattoo, and that's, to me, symbolises personal development. So I really, really like this deck. I think this deck's fantastic. And the person that created this deck has an MA in counselling, so they have worked with people struggling with many types of traumatic situations, and believes we've all experienced trauma in our lives. And yeah, I really think this is a really good deck. It's slightly deviates from the tarot system a little bit on this deck. So it goes in, like in the guidebook, sort of information on about trauma and stuff, and reimagining the majors. So they've all been renamed. And then they use numbers for the minor. And the court cards have been remanaged as learner, doer, feeler, and thinker. So it's been slightly renamed. And it talks about trauma recovery and everything like that. It's such a good little book. And then it goes into the meanings of the card. So you have a little upright and reverse meaning, and then a little information there on the meaning behind it. But let me just show you some cards. And then there's a workbook that comes with this deck, which I think is really, really good. And that's what the backs of the cards look like. So yeah, you can see that it's not your typical RWS sort of imagery. It kind of is quite similar, but not quite the same. It really does delve into like your psychological development, and it's all about trauma work, and it's just such a good deck. I really think this is really good. I like using this one for shadow work because that's for its intended purpose. But sometimes we need guidance when we're looking within ourselves, because we're biased on how we think and feel and everything. Kind of need that little different sort of system to tap into that unconscious mind and try and get to the root of the problem, you know. So I really like this deck for that. So it's very different in imagery. You could almost say it's a bit more of an oracle kind of deck rather than a tarot, because it's loosely based on the system but is slightly different. But I think it's really good, and I like that there's spiral imagery throughout. And then what's great about this deck is it comes with a year-long tarot workbook. So here's the workbook you can get with this deck. And there's a lot in here. So there's like an introduction, intention setting with the major arcana. And then there's certain spreads you can do. And it's just really cool. I haven't actually written in this. I've used my own journal to do that because I didn't want to ruin this book because it's so cool. And like, if I want to go back to reworking something I've already used before, I want to have like a clean workbook to look from. And in part 2, it says reflection through the year of the minor arcana. So you've got like winter here, shadow work confronting the darkness, balance between light and dark. Then you've got renewal, winter. And then you can have a weekly reminder of. Some people find it's helpful to keep a closer eye on their intentions in order to establish new habits more firmly, explore any blocks as they occur here. During the 10 weeks between winter and spring, you can track behaviours that support our intentions or events that are significant to our progress. So this is just really cool. It's just so well thought out, and definitely something, if you're really wanting to tackle some trauma responses that you're suffering in your adult life, that things that have happened to you in the past, and you really want to work on it, I think this would be a great deck to help you get through certain repeating patterns in your life. Because I always have the same things going over and over again in my life. So like, I'm a people pleaser. Where does that stem from? Like, what is the root cause of that? Like, how did that develop and why do I do it? And that sort of thing. And it's just really, really good. Yeah, I really, really liked this book that comes with it. And then part 3 is Final Reflection on the Self card. And then it says you completed your spiritual year. So this is such a cool guidebook, but there's a lot of dedication to this, is because it's a year-long tarot workbook. So if you're willing to put in the work, I recommend this. I think it's such a good guidebook to go work through. And the cards are great as well. And I really like the write-ups in the guidebook. I just think they're really good. So let me look up, say, like the Hierophant. There's adapting to our environment, staying within conventional bounds, maintaining our protective patterns, doing what is expected, inflexibility and rigidity, avoiding the wrath of powerful others. And the reverse is beginning to recognise our conditioned habits, finding the moment of choice between trigger and response. And here it says on the other side, it says, as young children, we are shown by the reactions of those around us how we are meant to be. We receive praise and love when we are good, and we get rejected or punished when we are bad. We are taught or conditioned to be more and more appropriate behaviour. This process is necessary in order to become socialised, to function in our human society. But sometimes others around us are struggling with their own traumatic past experiences, and their reactions towards us are extreme. They may require of us behaviour that we're not developmentally capable of, and their displeasure risks potential abandonment that threatens our survival. In our attempts to avoid repeated traumatic experiences, we create protective patterns that include the behaviours that will allow us to be safe in our environment, even if it means sacrificing some of our essence. Now, when these conditioned patterns occur very early in life, they're quite difficult to identify later in adulthood, even when they're now interfering with our functioning. When we begin to recognise this conditioning, we begin to have choice around how we respond, and we can choose responses that are more aligned with our true self. That's such a powerful little book. It's little but mighty. It's so much packed into this little guidebook, and I really, really think this is great for shadow work. So, the deck I recommend is the Spherical Tarot. Prompt number 3 is Deity Work or Spirit Guides, a deck that serves as a spiritual bridge, perfect for working with deities, spirit guides, or higher realms. It holds sacred energy and supports devotional practice or channeled messages. And the deck I chose for this one is the Dream Vision Tarot. I don't personally work with deities. I connect to spirit. That's how I connect to the higher realms and everything like that. So I don't work with particular god or goddesses and them type of archetypes. But I really love this deck. That feels like I am talking to spirit. That's what the backs look like. The figures in this deck really feel otherworldly to me, and I feel like they are spiritual beings. I feel like I am connecting with spirit every time I use this deck. It's very ethereal sort of feeling I get when I use this, and I get really good messages, and I feel like I'm not talking to myself when I'm reading for myself. I feel like a spirit is intervening with the reading. I feel like I'm getting a message from spirit spiritual realm. So this is why I chose this deck for that. It just has that vibe about it. I just definitely feel like this is some spirit trying to contact me or guide me in the right direction when I'm doing a reading. So I really like this deck for that, and the artwork is absolutely beautiful. It definitely is, I feel like I'm talking to my spirit guides. So I recommend the Dream Vision Tarot for spirit guide work. Prompt number 4 is Ancestor Work, a deck you suggest for connecting with ancestral wisdom, whether for lineage healing or honouring those who came before. This one opens the path to ancestral connection. I haven't really done ancestral work, but I have tried to contact people that have moved on and have passed away in this earthly realm. And the deck I use for this is the Voice of the Soul's Oracle. On the back of this it says, mediumship is a natural ability to make contact with one's guides and with the souls on the other side. Thanks to the Voice of the Soul's Oracle, you'll be able to develop your own connection skills and use them as a positive support in connecting with souls who have an important message to deliver. Together with the magic of illustrations and accompanying book, you will learn to increase your mediumistic and intuitive powers, and you will gain confidence in your feelings, receive inspirational messages for your evolution, and develop your spiritual skills. So I kind of used this deck to try and contact my mum that's passed away, and it was a really emotional reading when I did use this deck. So this one is definitely something I use to try and contact people that have moved on. And this is the guidebook that comes with it. Tells you how to use the cards. And then it goes on to the messages. So you have your soul message. And then you have your spirit guide's message, what they're trying to say. And then you have the entity on the other, as the other message. And it's such a really good guidebook. I really like the keywords that came up in this. And it says, shows you, there's different messages of warning, message of love. These are special cards, soul connection card messages, as well within this tarot oracle deck, sorry. And then about the creator, they're a light worker with a degree in psychology. And yeah, that's what I really like this for contacting people that have moved on. So I haven't really delved into my ancestry that much, but I did try and contact my mum by using these cards. So yeah, it was a very emotional reading when I did it. I haven't done it since, just because it was quite emotional. So like, you could be trying to contact someone specific and it says it's not me. It could be talking to somebody else. And the special cards are in black. And then you have the other cards. And yeah, it was really interesting what came up for me. So yeah, I think this would be a good one if you're wanting to get in contact with other spirits that have moved on and people you're trying to contact and everything. I think this is a cool deck for that. It's very interesting. But yeah, I cried my eyes out when I'd done a reading trying to contact my mum. So this is a deck that I would recommend for ancestral work, and that is Voice of the Soul's Oracle. Prompt number 5 is Divination, a deck that excels in traditional divination, clear, direct, and accurate. This is your top pick for those seeking predictive insight or practical answers. And the only deck I've ever used for divination purposes is the tea leaf fortune cards. These cards are brilliant. I think they're so predictive. I think they're very spot on with messages that you get. And you get 200 cards in this. And it's absolutely amazing. You get 182 symbol cards, you get 12 month cards and 8 astral house cards. So if you're looking for specific months, you can actually pick out the month card yourself. This is what the cards look like. They're quite small circular cards, but there's so many of them. Let me just zoom in a little bit. So the red cards are the normal cards. And then the months of the year are in purple. So you obviously get your June, December, all the different months and everything in the purple cards. And then these ones are symbols of different things. So you've got fan, chair field, and with like keyword underneath. So ram, a stubborn, aggressive person. And I think these are fantastic for divination. If you're wanting something to predict what's going to happen. You've got October for another monthly card. And I really like this. I think it is quite accurate. And you also get the astral house cards as well. So you've got career in this one. In January, February. You've got throne, tiger, doing something risky, taking a chance. Torch, spiritual development, enlightenment, and awareness and understanding. Tortoise, slowly but surely getting ahead. Yeah, these are really cool. I think these are great. So many cool cards. It's just because there's so many of them, it's unlikely you'll get repeating cards. You've got 182 cards here. So you could have loads of these come up. And it'd be very interesting when you do get repeated cards, because there's so many. You'd be like, why is this card keep coming up for me? Because it's not by chance, really, because there's like 182 different cards here. So I think these are really cool. I think this is great for divination. I think they're very specific as well. Control your anger or you will be sorry. Seek out information that will help you. So they're very quite specific. So you've got a younger woman, dealings or relationships with a younger woman. Handshake, a meeting with a stranger could be important. So yeah, I think these are really cool. Needle and thread, a sincere wish will be granted. Owl, good advice from a wise person. Sunrise, new creative ideas, new ventures, a fresh start. Pin, new job, career. Teapot, deep friendship with someone of the same sex. So that's how specific these cards can get. So I really like the guidebook that comes with this as well. So it gives you a brief history on tea leaf reading. And then you get all the write-ups of the cards and everything. So and it gives you examples as well. So like of tea leaf reading, what's coming up in the coming year, and it goes by the months of what you can see. And I thought that was quite interesting to look at. I haven't done a lot of tea leaf reading personally, but I find it fascinating. And then you get sample readings that you can do. A lot of sample readings you can look at, get a good idea of how to use these cards. And then here is a write-up, more expanded edition of just the keywords on here. But I don't generally look into the guidebook for the meanings. I feel like the keywords are enough to get what the cards are trying to say, but they're there if you want to expand on the card and read more about it. So that's really cool. And yeah, so this is the deck I recommend for divination, the Tea Leaf Fortune cards. Prompt number 6 is As Above, a deck that connects the reader to cosmic or spiritual realms, ideal for soul work, life path exploration, or messages from the higher self. It speaks to the divine perspective. And the deck I chose for that, and a lot of people have chosen this in this category, is the Shimmering Veil Tarot. I feel like I'm in a completely different realm when I'm using this deck. It's absolutely stunning. The artwork is amazing. And it's so otherworldly, ethereal. And it's such a cool deck. The guidebook is really nice as well. There's a lot of information here on the cards. So I really like the guidebook. And it's got nice cool edging as well. That's what the backs look like. Yeah, these cards definitely feel like I'm in another otherworldly place. It's just so abstract, and the artwork just draws you in, and it's just really cool. Definitely feel like I'm tapping into something higher than myself. Definitely not on this earthly plane. This sort of readings I feel like I'll get from this. Just absolutely stunning. I absolutely love this deck, and I definitely recommend this. And you have like the symbol and the number or the cool letter on the corner there, so it doesn't distract too much from the imagery. And it's just so stunning. Like, look at that card. Amazing. Beautiful. I do like a lot of decks made by Cilla Conway. This one's my favourite of the ones she's created. I really do feel like this is the best she's ever done. Beautiful artwork. I can't get enough of this deck. I think this is so good. I definitely feel like I'm on a spiritual realm when I work with this. And a lot of people agree with me because a lot of videos already have this as that category. So yeah, that's the Shimmering Veil Tarot. Prompt number 7 is So Below, a deck you recommend for grounded real-world readings. This one captures everyday emotions, human experience, and earthly wisdom with clarity and depth. And I kind of went for this deck for that, the Real Talk Tarot. This is a very modern deck and brings you back onto Earth and how, as a society, we are at the moment. This has a lot of technology in these cards. That's what the backs look like. Now, I chose this because it's very relatable and it's definitely focusing on the here and now of everyday life, and that's why I picked it for this category. So here you got going to the cinema, cars and everything. Got a lot of social media in here. Just very modern and relatable to now. So here we've got a social media page, looks like Instagram. And I feel like if you was trying to do a reading on something that was about real world stuff, this would be a good deck for that because it is focused on the here and now. Now, there's not a lot of modern decks out there that I've noticed, to be honest. Like, this one is quite modern with the using phones and all sorts of that sort of imagery, and you've got people protesting. A lot of relatable things. I thought this would be a good deck for that. And there's someone at a concert, things everyday life that we do, travelling, things we and going to like to the beach and that sort of thing, and kayaking, shopping. And there's a GoFundMe page sort of thing going on. Someone getting attacked. It looks like a cyberbullying sort of card. All the knives being thrown at you for a screen. And it's just really cool. I really like this one for how down to earth it is and it's relatable for everyday life. So for the category of So Below, I picked the Real Talk Tarot. Prompt number 8 is a hug deck, a deck that offers emotional support and comfort, gentle, compassionate and soothing. This is a deck that feels like a warm hug for anyone going through a tough time. And I struggled to find a deck for this. I wasn't sure what to pick, but I eventually went with this one, the Playful Heart Tarot. This is what the backs look like. I feel like this is quite a huggy sort of deck. It sort of gives serious messages in a more soft way, I suppose, like a bit more gentle in its reading, not harsh in any way. When I've had readings with this deck, I feel like it's very inviting, like the characters in this, and nothing like too dark in this. It's quite nice huggy deck, I suppose. Just giving you the message you want, but in a softer way. So that's why I picked this deck for that category. And like everyone's smiling, quite happy, a lot of good vibe sort of cards, even in the cards that are quite negative in like their like traditional meanings. It's not so bad in this one, I feel like. So yeah, I'll pick this as my hug deck when I'm feeling a bit sensitive and I don't want like something to be hard hitting. I'll bring this deck out and see what this has got to say for me for a reading. So I feel like it can highlight like bad or sensitive subjects, but does it in a tactile way, not in an aggressive way or blunt way. So that's why I like this deck. And I chose that as my hug deck recommendation, and that is the Playful Heart Tarot. Prompt number 9 is Feel Good Deck, a deck that uplifts, encourages, and energizes, whether through colour, artwork, or message. This one is a perfect feel good recommendation for readers who want joy and empowerment. I struggled with this prompt as well. I wasn't sure what to pick for this either, but I went with a deck that I've been really loving this year, and that is the Animistic Tarot. I really love the messages in the guidebook for this deck. I feel like it really speaks to me, and on here it says, unearth your potential. Your journey begins here amongst the magic of the earth and its animate beings. And I just really like the imagery of this. I think it's a really cool deck. And I love the edging. That's what the backs look like. And it's a bit pippish in style on some of the minor cards. But it was the guidebook for me that makes me feel like this is a feel-good deck. It really gave some really cool messages. And I love like the spiral symbology in this as well. I've mentioned this deck quite a few times on my channel this year, just because I really do enjoy it. I think it's so good. And I feel like connecting with nature with this one, and being more in tune with nature makes me feel good. So yeah, that's why I picked this as like a feel good deck. And the guidebook itself, I really like the messages, and it really is really cool. I really like the way it's been written. The Eight of Wands, a promising new beginning in the realm of fire. This journey before you is one of passionate determination, and your fresh start will only be enhanced by your crystal clear intention. It makes you imagine it happening to you, like really like paints a picture of like you're reading like a story of some sort. So like the Eight of Cups is your sign to walk away, although the situation may have reached its I can never say that word. I won't say it. Leaving will create emotional stability, and staying will likely take it from you. It is important to listen to the ebb and flow of your journey. So really, a lot of personal development sort of wording language in this, like quite inspiring sort of passionate language that makes you like more determined than ever to get wherever you need to go in your journey. And like the readings that you get are empowering, I feel like, because of the language in the guidebook. Yeah, this is my feel good deck. Really do like it. And yeah, it was really surprised me, this deck, because I didn't expect so much from it. But yeah, I really just love the guidebook, and the artwork is very nice as well. I like the colours and everything. So yeah, the feel good deck I chose is the Animistic Tarot. Prompt number 10 is the most versatile deck you recommend for handling any type of reading. Love, career, shadow work, daily pulls, and everything in between. Reliable, flexible, and reader friendly. This is an all rounder that adapts to every situation. And the deck I originally was going to pick was like any RWS would be the most versatile. Everyone a lot of people recognise that imagery and all that sort of thing. But then this deck come to mind. I feel like this is like the most versatile deck in my collection, and that is the International Icon Tarot. This is what the backs look like. And on the box it says, the International Icon Tarot conveys traditional meanings without relying on occult symbols or mystical illustrations. By incorporating the distinctive graphic style associated with international signage, as a result, this deck can be used by a wider audience in a broader variety of settings. Its simplicity will appeal to the beginners and captivate both collectors and experienced tarot users. Without sacrificing symbolic depth, these engaging images provide a greater degree of ethnic, cultural, and gender inclusiveness. And this is why I think this is the most versatile deck in my collection, because it's true, like everyone recognises signage and like the icons on the signage and everything. This is what you get in this deck. There's there's no different ethnicities. Like some decks are not, like the original RWS is not diverse at all. There's no different like ethnicities in that and everything. There's no nudity in this deck. So yeah, if I was going to do a reading in real life, I think I would pick a deck like this because it is reader friendly. Like it will appeal. I can read for any age, any gender. I feel like it represents everybody. So this is why I like this deck for that. And I agree with what the box says. I think it is diverse, and so I think this is the most versatile deck in my collection, just because it can appeal to everyone. It has like the main symbology of RWS that people recognise. So I think RWS is the most versatile system because it's the most popular. So I think having this deck is the one I'd pick as most versatile. And that is the International Icon Tarot. Prompt number 11 is most inspiring. A deck you recommend to inspire creativity, intuitive flow, or personal transformation. Whether it's the art, the energy, or the depth of the message, this one sparks something powerful in the reader. And the deck I picked was this one, Tarot Galamalfri. I never know if I'm saying the title of this deck right, but that's how I say it. I absolutely love the artwork in this deck. And it says, dive into a world where the untamed beauty of nature meets the mysterious mysteries of tarot. And I love the art. I think it's stunning. Really it inspires me every time I look at this deck. I really like the guidebook as well. There's a lot of information in here, and it also references the artwork in the card of the symbology and why it's been used, which I really like about this guidebook. It even has it in bold here, so like if you notice the butterfly, if you went to that card, you can quickly look up the butterfly and why it's been put in that card. But the artwork is so beautiful. And the backs look like this. And quite big cards as well. And they have been renamed. The suits are different and the titles of the major are different. But look how beautiful and stunning this is. It's so abstract and bright. It's definitely my sort of art that I love the most. And there's collage in this. It's got everything that I will love. It's got painting and line drawings and photographs. Got everything. So yeah, I really, really like this. It inspires me every time. I always inspire to make my own deck, and I would probably do something abstract like this. So looking at this deck makes me inspired to create my own deck one day. So I really do like this deck for that. It's very inspiring to me. So just beautiful. So much colour in here. A lot of texture, a lot of different mixed media. Yeah, I just really, really like it. So yeah, that's the deck that I picked. The most inspiring, most definitely. Inspires me anyway. Everyone's different, aren't they? So if you're into abstract stuff like I am, you'll probably be inspired by this deck as well. If you like this sort of art style. Right? When I first saw this deck, I was just like, I need this in my life. It's amazing. And I'm so glad I have it. And that is the Tarot Galamalfri. Prompt number 12 is Best for Beginners, a deck you'd confidently recommend to someone just starting their tarot journey. Accessible, clear, and easy to learn with. This one makes tarot feel inviting rather than intimidating. And the deck I picked for that, well, in my thoughts were any tarot deck with keywords on it, but I like this deck in particular. This is the Practical Tarot Wisdom, and it uses the Radiant Wide Awake Tarot deck for the imagery. And it's miniature versions of the Radiant Wide Awake paired with a simple down-to-earth tarot guidance. And it's written on the cards. There's no guidebook needed for this. That's what the backs look like. And very small cards, so you can carry them around with you while you learn. I just really liked the write-ups on these. And I think it's so much more easier to learn from a deck that has more than just keywords written on it, I feel like. So with this, like, you have 4 of Wands. Actions you have taken pay off. Others have noticed your work at putting things together. No need to keep driving forward just now. Take the time to congratulate yourself for a team for a job well done. So I really like the messages. I feel like they're very helpful. There's no upright or reversal meanings to confuse people that are just starting out, so you can just get basic meanings down. And they've got a RWS imagery next to it, so you can look at it straight away. And I feel like this is a really good one to learn with. I like this deck. I like using this deck when I don't want to think about reading properly. Like, say I just want, just give me the message like an oracle deck. I'll get this deck out. So, because sometimes you just want an easy reading. You don't want to be thinking too hard sometimes, depending on how you're feeling and that sort of thing. So especially with the court cards, I feel like it's quite helpful. So like for the Knight of Cups, it says, you must focus on the direction you want to go, or you might find yourself lost in daydreams. Emotions are high when this card shows up. Your best course is to let yourself feel, but don't lose sight of your primary purpose. So I feel like this will be quite helpful learning court cards properly, because everyone gets confused by those when they first start. I don't know anyone that hasn't had issues with the court cards. And then here, the Magician, it says, you have all the tools you need to make things happen. You're being challenged to create the life you want by using what is within your grasp. What you bring into the world is yours. Engage your mind, hands, and heart today. So yeah, I think these are quite cool little cards, and I really like the messages on these, and that'd be great for a beginner when they're first trying to get the hang of the meaning. So there's a bit more than just a keyword. So rather than like relying on a guidebook, you could just use this deck and get to know like the basics of card meanings. So yeah, I really like this one, and I definitely recommend this for beginners. And that is the Practical Tarot Wisdom. So prompt number 3 is Best for Professionals, a deck you suggest for experienced readers who need depth, nuance, and strong symbolism. Ideal for layered reading, spiritual insight, and working with clients at a professional level. And I didn't know what to pick at first, but then what came to me was that tarot deck that has 4 textbooks associated with it. That is a deck for a professional. And that deck is this one, the Navigator's Tarot of the Mystic Sea. This deck is Thoth based. There's a lot of deviation from the imagery. There's so much going in here. It's got the Kabbalah. There's so many layers to this deck. Definitely something that you need to study to get to know this deck. So we have a little white guidebook that comes with this. But before I show you the cards, this deck has 4 huge textbooks. This is the one that comes with the deck itself when you buy the book set. So you have this first book. So it gives you all the information you need on the cards and the meanings and everything. So you have this book that comes with the cards. But then they made more books. This is volume number 1, The Navigator's Dream. And this is a novel written by the creator talking about the cards in a story format. So this first volume focuses on the pip cards first, and so it's all written in the story, so you can learn about the cards and everything, and it's categorized by the card it's talking about, so you can read it as like a story happening. So it's really interesting. But one little storybook was not enough for this creator. Here's volume number 2, just as thick, just as much information, and this one focuses on the court cards, and then it will tell you in story format about court cards. And then they issued book volume 3. And this one, even thicker than all the others, this one is focused on all of the major arcana. And this one's a hefty one. There's lots of information in this deck, and it's really interesting. So if you are an expert tarot reader and you love a good tarot deck with a lot of information relating to it, I recommend the Navigator's Tarot of the Mystic Sea, because of the amount of books you get just on this tarot deck. How amazing is that? You could really sink your teeth into all of that and learn all the symbology, because there is a lot in this deck. So let me just show you the cards now. I was amazed that I managed to get copies of those books, because I didn't think I'd be able to, but I did. Very happy about that. So the back's got the Tree of Life on there. So you've got a keyword up here and then the title of the card. But look how out there this deck is. There's so much going on. But you can sort of see a symbology here, like the path here looks like a DNA structure. So there's a lot of out there sort of symbology. So you've got 3 of Pentacles, you've got someone working in an office sort of thing going on. But it's very different. So if you're an experienced reader, you'd probably would layer your own like soft knowledge on the cards, as well as look into the symbology of this creator and what they've depicted. There's so much work has been gone into this deck, and there's so many books on it, and it's just really interesting, and I really like this. Definitely a study deck. I want to really study this a lot, because I love the imagery in this. It's stunning. Absolutely beautiful deck. So yeah, if you're an experienced reader, I recommend this one, just because there's a lot to read about and study, and lots of different layered meanings and imagery, and I just think this is fantastic. So especially if you're into Thoth as well, and you wanted something a bit different, I recommend this one, and that is the Navigator's Tarot of the Mystic Sea. Prompt number 14 is Witchy Vibes, a deck you'd recommend for those who love witchy aesthetics, moody vibes, magical symbolism, or spellbook support, casting, altar work, etc. And this was a no-brainer for me. This was my obvious choice. Everyday Witch Tarot. This is one of my workhorse decks. I use this all the time. It's got a witchy vibe. I absolutely love it. And I think it's a really easy reader as well. But if you like really cheesy sort of witchy sort of look, everyone's got witch hats in here. There's a black cat in every card. And if you like that sort of old school witchy look, I recommend this deck, just because it has that aesthetic. And at first I never liked this deck. I thought, oh, it's a bit cheesy, but I grew to love it the more I used it, and I really like the readings I get from this. A very cool symbology, and just like how everyone's got witch hats on. There's cauldrons. There's really cool look to it. I really like it. I just love that there's a black cat in every card, because I love black cats so much. I had a black cat throughout childhood. Every cat I've had has been a black cat, so I just really like that. So yeah, I like that there's a cat in every image. Not always necessarily black cats, but a lot of the time. But yeah, if you're a cat fan and a witch fan, I recommend. So I just think this is a great witchy deck, and this is the one that instantly came to my head when I saw that prompt. I really like this card the most, though, the High Priestess card. because it's relatable to now. Like you can see yourself at a table, like doing your tarot, and you might have a little cat friend in your house, trying to mess around with your runes or something. So yeah, I really like this deck. I think it's great. So yeah, the deck I picked for my witchy vibes is the Everyday Witch Tarot. And the last prompt of this tarot tag is Astrology Work, a deck you recommend for astrology lovers and cosmic seekers. One that weaves planetary wisdom and archetypes into its structure, ideal for exploring birth charts, transits, and celestial guidance. I'm not well versed in astrology, so I don't know if I could give a really good recommendation, but the one that I enjoy using and have used this year is this one, the Oracle of the Radiant Sun, astrology cards to illuminate your life. And I don't have a lot of astrology based decks, to be honest, so this is the only one that I think is pretty decent. So you get 84 cards and a guidebook. And it says, Sun has been worshipped from time immemorial. Its regular passage across the sky was used by the ancients to predict events, and this became the astrology we know today. Now, with this beautifully illustrated deck, you too can follow the sun's path across the heavens and use it to light its light to help guide your life. And there's different suits. It's got 7 suits. Each represents a significant planet as it moves through the astrological zodiac. So I feel like this is quite astrology based. I don't know a lot about astrology, but if you're a beginner like me, I'd recommend this deck because it's easy to use. I feel like it's user friendly. That's what the back suit like. I love how small they are. I really love the art style. So like even if you're not that sure on astrology, you could just use this as an oracle with the keywords if you wanted to. But it does have astrology like symbols and things associated with each card. So let me just show you the guidebook for this. So it has symbols on here. So it's got the astrological signs and the planets on each card. So you've got planets and the star signs. And it talks about like the first house, the planets, their functional action, the sign. So it gives you a lot of information in this guidebook about astrology. So if you really wanted to delve into this, it would be easier to start off if you're a beginner, I think. I feel like this is quite a cool deck to have. Probably for someone that's really into astrology, probably know all this stuff already, but I am totally clueless, to be honest. All I know is what my signs are. I've had a birth chart done before, but not that I understand most of it, like the houses and things. So yeah, you'll get a card and it have the keyword, and then it'll tell you it's an Aries card and the sun is associated with it, so sun in Aries. And it will give you information, and then it gives you a little bit about what the card means and events that could happen with each card. So I thought it was quite, and it describes the image as well, which I quite liked about this guidebook. And it's got moon as the suit of security, so the sun is the suit of fortune. And the other suit you get is change from Mercury. And then Venus is for love. Then Mars is for action. And Jupiter is the suit of gain. And Saturn's suit is of ambition. And that's all the suits in this deck. And it gives you samples, spreads to use, and a sample reading on how to use it. So this is definitely based on astrology. And if you're interested in that sort of thing, I'd recommend this one. I really like the artwork. I think it's beautiful. But yeah, I'm probably not the best person to recommend astrology decks, but I do like this one. This is the one I'd recommend a friend if they was intrigued by astrology or something, because I feel like this has been very well researched. I think there's been a lot of information put in there, and I feel like it's accurate. I might not know a lot, but I feel like I can rely on that guidebook to tell me like it's the right information, like it's been really well researched and everything like that. So I trust what the guidebook says is true about astrology. That's what I'm trying to get at, I suppose. But yeah, this is the deck I'd recommend for astrological readings and that sort of thing. And that is Oracle of the Radiant Sun. And that's it. That's all the prompts of all the decks I recommend. I really enjoyed all the categories of this tarot tag. I really liked finding decks for each one. I thought it was quite fun. And yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed making this video. So if you liked my content and you want to subscribe, please do. I really would appreciate if you do. And please comment down below, like if you agree with the ones I would recommend. But they're my editor picks of decks on them categories. And yeah, I really enjoyed this deck. So I'll link down below Nova's original tarot tag video. So you can check out the person that started this amazing tag. And I'll see you in my next video. Thanks again for watching. Bye.